The last concept of this unit is battery parameters and terminology. Now let's discuss these 11 parameters of a battery. The first one is a battery capacity, second one is a charge or discharge rate or C rating of a battery, third one is depth of discharge, fourth one is state of charge, fifth one is self discharge, sixth one is round trip efficiency, seventh one is energy density, eighth one is specific energy, ninth one is power density, 10th one is specific power, and 11th one is battery life. So the first parameter is battery capacity. So it is the maximum charge storage capacity of a battery, represented in terms of ampere hours or AH. The energy stored in a battery called the battery capacity is measured in either watt hours or kilowatt hours. The watt hour capacity can be approximated from the ampere hour capacity by multiplying the ampere hour capacity with nominal battery voltage. That is, say for example, you have a 12 volts battery with a capacity of 100 ampere hours. So what is the energy stored by this battery? So the energy stored by this battery is ampere hour rating multiplied by nominal voltage rating, that is 100 ampere hours multiplied by 12 volts. So which will comes out to be 1200 watt hours or 1.2 kilowatt hours. So it is the battery capacity. So the battery capacity is expressed in terms of ampere hours or kilowatt hours. So higher the ampere hour rating of a battery, higher the size of a battery. So higher is the ampere hour rating of a battery, larger is the size of a battery. Because when ampere hour rating of a battery increases, the active material which is used inside a battery to store the electrical energy gets increased, and because of this the size of the battery also increases. Now let's see the second parameter, that is depth of discharge. In short, people used to call it DOD. So it is a measure of how much energy has been withdrawn from a battery and is expressed as a percentage of its full capacity. In many types of batteries, the full energy stored in the battery cannot be withdrawn. That is, in other words, the battery cannot be fully discharged. If you discharge the battery completely, it will lead to serious issues and often irreparable damage to the battery. It causes serious irreparable damage to the battery, and that is the reason why we'll never completely discharge the battery to zero. See, let's take an example. For example, every one of us are using our mobile phones. A mobile phone will give a low battery alert, right? So when it will give the low battery alert, for some mobile phones, it gives the low battery alert when it is 30%. Some other batteries will give a low battery indication at 20%. What is the meaning of it? If it is giving a low battery alert at 20%, which means the depth of discharge of the battery is 80%. Or on the other hand, if it is giving a low voltage alert at 30%, it is nothing but the depth of discharge of the battery is 70%. So what is the meaning of it? You cannot discharge the battery below that value. If you discharge the battery below that value, what happens? There will be a serious irreparable damage happens to the battery. So the depth of discharge of a battery determines the fraction of power that can be withdrawn from the battery. So the depth of discharge of a battery determines the fraction of power that can be withdrawn from the battery. It is nothing but it is its available capacity. There is a rated capacity, as you can see in the figure. The complete battery is nothing but the rated capacity of a battery. So as you can see in the figure, the complete capacity of a battery is called the rated capacity. But we cannot completely discharge our batteries, and for that reason there is some inactive component in the figure, and that inactive component in the figure is nothing but the percentage of the battery capacity which we cannot deteriorate below. So the above is called so some part of the battery is inactive to avoid the irreparable losses, and thereby the rest of the thing is nothing but the available capacity of a battery. For example, the rated capacity is 100% and the inactive component is 20%, then the available capacity is 80%. So the depth of discharge of your battery is 80% because 20% you cannot discharge in order to prevent irreparable damage to the battery. Now let's see the third parameter of a battery, which is nothing but state of charge, in short SOC. So what is this SOC? SOC is an expression of the present battery capacity as a percentage of maximum capacity. Say for example, in the figure you have seen 33% and in the second figure you have seen 72%. What is the meaning of this 33% and 72%? When your battery indicates the percentage of a battery is 33%, it indicates that the amount of battery available is only 33% out of the 100%. On the other hand, if the battery shows 72%, it is an indication that the battery charge which is left is 72%. That is 28% is already consumed and 72% is existing in the battery at present. So whatever you see on your battery, it is nothing but the state of charge. What is the current storage capacity of a battery is nothing but the state of charge of a battery. You can see it here. An important thing to discuss here is state of charge plus depth of discharge. If you add these two things, you will get 100% or 1. So how? You can see here, you can see in the below figure, whenever the depth of discharge is 0%, it is nothing but the battery is fully charged. That is, its state of charge is 100%. On the other hand, whenever the depth of discharge is 100%, it is an indication that the battery is entirely discharged. That is, its state of charge is 0%. In both the cases, if you add both, it will comes out to be 100%. Say if the depth of discharge is 10%, then state of charge is 90%. If depth of discharge is 20%, then state of charge is 80%. If depth of discharge is 90%, then state of charge is 10%. If depth of discharge is 80%, then state of charge is 20%. You can see it there. So 0% depth of discharge means 100% SOC. 80% depth of discharge means 20% SOC. 35% depth of discharge means 65% state of charge. 100% depth of discharge means 0% state of charge. So the state of charge plus depth of discharge, if you add these two parameters, it will comes out to be 100% or 1. Now coming to the next parameter of a battery, it is the discharge or charge rate or C rating of a battery. So what is the C rating of a battery? A C rating is a measure of the rate at which battery is discharged relative to its maximum capacity. So what do you mean by that? The C rating is obtained by dividing the ampere hour rating of a battery by number of hours for full charge or discharge. That is, C rating equal to C by X, where C is the battery capacity and X is the number of hours taken for full charge or discharge. Now let's take this example. If the depth of discharge of a battery is given by the manufacturer as 65%, then what is the meaning of it? Only 65% of the battery capacity can be used by the load. Say for example, if the battery capacity is 100 kilowatt hour, then because the depth of discharge is 65%, we can only discharge 65 kilowatt hours from the battery. That is, out of 100 kilowatt hours, you can discharge only 65 kilowatt hours from a battery. If you discharge below that, what happens? So there occurs a irreparable damage to the battery. So to avoid this irreparable damage, we will never discharge our batteries to less than the prescribed depth of discharge. So let's see a figure over here. So in this figure, if the depth of discharge of a battery is given by the manufacturer as 90%, then what is its implication? Out of the 10 kilowatt hour rated capacity of the battery, only 90%, that is 9 kilowatt hour alone can be discharged. We cannot discharge more than 9 kilowatt hours from this battery. When we discharge more than 9 kilowatt hours, then what happens? The life of a battery will decreases and it leads to the irreparable damage to the battery. So a discharge of at least 80% depth of discharge is referred to as a deep discharge batteries. So if a manufacturer specifies the depth of discharge of a battery above 80%, then those batteries are termed as deep discharge batteries. So these lithium ion batteries are the deep discharge batteries, and they have a depth of discharge in between 80 to 100%. Whereas these lead acid batteries are not the deep discharge batteries. Their depth of discharge will be limited to 60 to 70%, and that is the reason why the lead acid batteries are not termed as a deep discharge batteries, whereas the lithium ion batteries are called the deep discharge batteries. Now let's see this table and let's understand what is a C rating means. For example, so let's take a battery which is having a ampere hour rating of 100 ampere hours. Now if I say the battery is having a C rate of 1C, 1C means C rate is equal to 1, C equal to 1, or in other words 1C. Then what it means? It means a battery which is having rated capacity of 100 ampere hours and is having 1 C rate will charge or discharge that battery in 1 hour. That is, if you want to charge that 100 ampere hour battery, it will take 1 hour time. If you want to discharge that 100 ampere hours battery, it will take 1 hour time. Then what is 2C? If I have a 100 ampere hour battery and the manufacturer specifies the C rating of the battery is 2C, what it indicates? If you have 2C rate on the battery, then it is nothing but it will charge double that current, that is 200 amperes in half of the time, in 0.5 hours or 30 minutes. You can see it there. So 2 into 100 amperes, that is 2 times the current in half of a time. So for example, if it is 3C, then what happens? 3 times the current in 1/3 of a time. That is, what is 1/3 of 1 hour? 20 minutes. And what is 3 times the current? 300 amperes. So this battery will charge or discharge 300 amperes of current in 20 minutes. 5C means 5 times the current in 1/5 of time. What is 1/5 of 60 minutes? 12 minutes. So the battery will charge or discharge 500 amperes of current in just 12 minutes. And what is 10C indicates? The battery can discharge 10 times the rated current, that is 1000 amperes in just 1/10 of a time, that is 6 minutes. So as the C rating increases, what happens? The time taken to charge and discharge a battery will decrease. On the other hand, if the C rate is taken as C by 2, what it indicates? It will discharge half of the current in 2 hours, which means, so a battery having a rated capacity of 100 ampere hours, if it is mentioned that its C rate is 0.5 C or C by 2, then it will discharge or charge 50 amperes of current in 2 hours. So it will take 2 hours time to charge that battery or to discharge that battery. On the other hand, if it is C by 5, then what it indicates? The battery can charge or discharge 20 amperes of current in 5 hours. So it will take 5 hours to charge or discharge a battery. Or on the other hand, if the C rate of a battery is C by 10, it indicates that the battery will discharge or charge 10 amperes of current in 10 hours. So as the C rate of a battery decreases, what happens? The time taken to charge or time taken to discharge the batteries will increase. Now let's see the other parameter called self-discharge of a battery. So the self-discharge of a battery is defined as the electrical capacity that is lost when a battery is not being used. That is, it sits on the shelf. If you don't use a battery for quite some time, then automatically some of its stored energy will be lost, and that is nothing but self-discharge. It is caused by internal electrochemical processes within the cell and is equivalent to application of small external load. So if you don't use a battery, inside the battery some electrochemical processes takes place, and these electrochemical processes are equivalent to the application of small electrical load which is consuming this energy. So the self-discharge of batteries should be as low as possible. The self-discharge rate of a battery increases with increasing temperature of the battery, and therefore it is recommended to store the batteries at lower temperatures. Say for example, take your mobile phone. charge it completely and keep it in your shelf. Evening you go home and see the phone, whether the battery will be 100% or it will decrease. It will obviously decrease, and that decrease is because of self-discharge. And one of the reason for the decrease in the charge of your mobile phone is self-discharge. But on the other hand, even if you switch off your mobile phone and keep it for some time, you charge your mobile phone for 100% and then you switch off it and then keep it for 1 month, and now then again you open the battery and again you open the phone, then see, the battery will never be equal to 100%, it will be less than that, and that reduced capacity of the battery is because of self-discharge. Now let's see one more important parameter of a battery, that is round trip efficiency. A battery's round trip efficiency represents the amount of energy that can be used as a percentage of the amount of energy that is stored in it. Say for example, if you feed 5 kilowatt hour of electricity into your battery and can get only 4 kilowatt hours of useful electricity back, then the battery has 80% round trip efficiency, because you are feeding in 5 kilowatt hour in the denominator, but you are getting only 4 kilowatt hour. And what is the efficiency of that battery? 80%. So this round trip efficiency is the energy lost during charging or discharging the battery. So generally speaking, a higher round trip efficiency means you will get more economical value out of your battery. Now let's see this figure, state of charge. So now let's see in this particular slide, we'll discuss state of charge, depth of discharge, round trip efficiency and self-discharge simultaneously. So what is the state of charge? The present state of a battery is nothing but the state of charge. And what is the depth of discharge? The rate to which the battery can be discharged is known as a depth of discharge. If you discharge the battery below the depth of discharge limit, then what happens? You will get a irreparable damage to your battery and the life of the battery will decreases. What are the round trip efficiencies? Round trip efficiencies are nothing but the energy which is lost in the battery during charging and discharging process, and this is nothing but round trip efficiency. Say for example, if you are feeding 100 units but you are getting only 80 units from it, then what is the round trip efficiency of the battery? It's 80%. And what is the self-discharge? The self-discharge of a battery is nothing but the capacity which is lost because of not using the battery for quite some time. It's because of the internal chemical processes. The depth of discharge is because of the internal electrochemical processes. The capacity of a battery will be reduced. And coming to the next parameter of a battery, it is energy density. That is watt-hour per liter. So the nominal battery energy per unit volume. Sometimes it is also referred to as volumetric energy density. That is the watt-hour rating of a battery in terms of liters. So the energy stored per liter of the electrolyte used inside a battery is nothing but volumetric energy density, or on the other hand, power density. What is this power density? The maximum available power per unit volume is nothing but power density or volumetric power density. The units of power density is watt per liter. Then specific energy. What is the specific energy? Specific energy is nothing but the nominal battery energy output per unit mass. Sometimes it is also referred to as gravimetric energy density. So, and the unit of this gravimetric energy density is watt-hour per kg. Previously, the energy density's unit is watt-hour per liter, whereas the specific energy's density is watt-hour per kg. And what is specific power? The maximum available output power per unit mass. So what is the unit of this specific power? Watt per kg. Previously, what is power density? Watt per liter. And now what is specific power? Watt per kg. When you find a word specific in between the power, in front of power and energy, it is nothing but it is a gravimetric energy and power densities. And finally, let's see the important parameter of a battery, that is battery life. What is meant by the battery life? The number of charge or discharge cycles the battery can experience before it fails to meet specific performance criteria is nothing but its battery life. So the life of a battery is specified in terms of cycles. Say for example, if they specify the life of a battery is 100 cycles, then what do you mean by that? It can charge and discharge for 100 times. For example, on the other hand, if the life of a battery is specified as 1000 cycles, what it means? The battery can be charged 1000 times and the battery can be discharged 1000 times. So when you do it after 1000 time, then the battery performance will be reduced and it will not, and the efficiency of charging and discharging process will be drastically decreased. And finally, let's compare the different batteries. Now let's compare the lead acid battery, nickel cadmium battery and lithium ion battery. So the nominal cell voltage that we can obtain from a lead acid battery is 2 volts. For a nickel cadmium battery, we'll get 1.2 volts. Whereas for a lithium ion battery, we'll get 3.7 volts. If you observe your mobile phone's battery rating, it will be around 3.7 volts. It's because we are using the lithium ion battery in our mobile phones. And what is the self-discharge? What do you mean by self-discharge? We already discussed that the capacity of a battery which is lost because of non-operation of the battery. So per month, how much percentage will be lost in different batteries? So if I take a lead acid battery, if I charge it completely and keep it aside, after a month, if I see its state of charge, it will not be 100%, it will be only 95%. If I see the nickel cadmium battery, its state of charge will be only 10%. On the other hand, if I see the lithium ion battery, its state of charge will be 95 to 97%. It's because its self-discharge rate is 3 to 5% per month. So the self-discharge rate of lithium ion batteries is 3 to 5%. The self-discharge of a lead acid battery is only 5%. The self-discharge of a nickel cadmium battery will be around 10%. Now let's compare the life of a battery in terms of cycles. So the battery life of a lead acid battery is 700 cycles. So it can charge and discharge only for 700 times. And the lifetime of a nickel cadmium battery is around 1000 to 1500 cycles. So which means you can charge and discharge in between 1000 to 1500 times. The lifetime of a lithium ion battery will be in between 500 to 1000 cycles. Which means you can charge or discharge your lithium ion battery for in between 500 to 1000 times. And coming to the energy density or in specific gravimetric energy density or specific energy. What is that? For a lead acid battery, the specific energy or gravimetric energy density will be 30 watt hours per kg. If its weight is 2 kgs, then you can store 60 watt hours. If its weight is 1 kg, you can store only 30 watt hours. And coming to nickel cadmium battery, its specific energy density is 45, which means it can store 45 watt hours if its weight is 1 kg. It can store 90 watt hours if its weight is 2 kgs. And on the other hand, this lithium ion battery has the highest specific energy density of 90 watt hours per kg. So 1 kg of a lithium ion battery can store 90 watt hours of energy. So 1 kg of a lithium ion battery can store 90 watt hours of energy. If its weight is 2 kg, then it can store 180 watt hours. As the specific energy density increases, the size of the battery decreases, and that is why the size of a lead acid battery will be very higher than the lithium ion batteries which we will use in our mobile phones. Now let's conclude the unit number 4. So in this unit number 4, we have gone through what is an energy storage, and then we have seen what is the need of this energy storage, and later we have seen the 4 elements of energy storage. They are storage medium, charging, discharging and control mechanism. Later we have seen what are the different types of batteries, primary batteries and secondary batteries. The primary batteries are non-rechargeable batteries, that is use and throw batteries, whereas the secondary batteries are rechargeable batteries. Then we have gone through different types of batteries. Then we have gone through the performance curves of a battery. The performance of a battery will be degraded because of 3 losses. The first loss is the activation loss, second one is the ohmic loss, and third one is the concentration loss. The activation loss dominates the losses in low current densities. The ohmic loss dominates the losses at medium current densities, whereas the concentration or mass transport loss dominates the losses at high current densities. Then we have gone through different types of batteries like lead acid battery, nickel cadmium battery and lithium ion battery. We have gone through the operation of each and every battery. And finally we have gone through different parameters of a battery. We have gone through what is a battery capacity, what is state of charge, what is depth of discharge, what is self discharge, what is C rating, what is specific power, what is specific energy, what is energy density, what is power density, what is battery life and what is C rating of a battery. So in the next unit, that is unit number 5 of SPVT2, we are going to see emerging solar cell technologies as well as applications of solar cells. Thank you.